You have been lied to about wealth. They told you that money comes from luck. They told you it comes from birthright. They told you it comes from connections, from family, from circumstances beyond your control. And you believed them. You believed them because it was easier than accepting the truth. The truth that wealth is a consequence. The truth that riches flow to those who have built within themselves the capacity to receive them. King David of ancient Israel was not born wealthy. He was a shepherd boy. The youngest son. The forgotten one. Sent to the fields while his brothers stood in the courts of power. Yet before his life ended, he had amassed wealth that made kingdoms tremble. Gold, silver, bronze, iron, quantities so vast that historians still argue over the numbers. And here is what you must understand: David's wealth was not an accident. It was not luck. It was not chance. It was not divine favoritism divorced from universal law. David's wealth was the result of specific mental and spiritual patterns. Patterns that operated in his time. Patterns that operate in your time. Patterns that will operate 1,000 years from now because they are rooted in unchangeable principles. Most people stumble through life hoping for prosperity. Wishing for it. Praying for it. All while their minds remain locked in patterns of poverty. All while their daily actions contradict their stated desires. All while they blame their circumstances, their economy, their government, their parents, their education. Listen carefully: wealth is not coming to save you. You must become the kind of person to whom wealth naturally flows. This is not poetry. This is not philosophy. This is law. As certain as the law of gravity. As predictable as the rising sun. Today, you will learn what David knew. You will learn the patterns he practiced. You will learn why wealth came to him not in spite of his humble beginnings, but because of what those beginnings forced him to develop inside his own mind. But understand this: knowing these secrets means nothing if you do not apply them. Reading this script changes nothing unless you allow it to change you. Knowledge without application is merely entertainment. And entertainment will not pay your bills. It will not secure your family's future. It will not build the life you say you want. From this moment forward, you are responsible. Not for what you learned yesterday. Not for the patterns others taught you. But for what you choose to do with what you are about to discover. Before we continue, I want you to do something. Subscribe to this channel right now. Not because it benefits me, but because that single action is a declaration. A declaration that you are taking control of your own education. That you are choosing to surround yourself with principles rather than distractions. And leave a comment telling me where you are watching from. Not for my sake, but for yours. Because the act of declaring your presence, your location, your willingness to engage, that act begins to shift something inside you. It moves you from passive consumer to active participant. And wealth only flows to participants, never to spectators. Your location on earth does not determine your capacity for wealth. Your current bank balance does not determine your capacity for wealth. What determines your capacity is the state of your mind. And the state of your mind is about to change. There is a law that governs wealth. Not a law written by governments. Not a law taught in schools. A law that exists whether you believe in it or not. A law that rewards those who align with it and punishes those who violate it. This law is simple: you cannot possess in your hands what you have not first built in your mind. David understood this law. Not because he read it in books, such books did not exist in his time. He understood it because he lived it. Because circumstance forced him to discover what comfortable men never learn. When you examine David's life, you see a pattern. A pattern that repeated itself over and over. And this pattern holds the key to everything you seek to understand about wealth. The pattern is this: David's external wealth was always preceded by internal development. Before he had riches, he had resourcefulness. Before he had armies, he had courage. Before he had kingdoms, he had character. Before he possessed gold, he possessed something more valuable, the mental capacity to handle gold without being destroyed by it. This is where most people fail. They want the wealth without the development. They want the riches without the discipline. They want the harvest without planting the seed, tending the soil, and waiting through seasons of growth. Listen to me, you cannot skip stages. You cannot rush the process. You cannot demand that the universe hand you treasures when your mind is still operating at the level of poverty. And poverty is not about the numbers in your account. Poverty is a mental condition. It is a way of thinking. A way of seeing. A way of speaking. David's first wealth was not material. His first wealth was mental clarity about his purpose. While tending sheep in empty fields, David developed something most people never develop, a clear sense of who he was and what he was meant to accomplish. He saw himself not as a forgotten shepherd boy, but as a person of destiny. He spoke to himself differently. He carried himself differently. Did this change his immediate circumstances? No. The sheep still needed tending. The fields were still empty. His brothers still dismissed him. But inside his mind, a foundation was being built. A foundation strong enough to hold the weight of future wealth. You must understand this, your mind is either a foundation or a prison. If your mind is filled with doubt, resentment, blame, and victimhood, it becomes a prison. And prisons repel wealth. They repel opportunity. They repel the very people and circumstances that could lift you higher. But if your mind is filled with clarity, purpose, faith, and responsibility, it becomes a foundation. And foundations attract. They attract resources. They attract allies. They attract opportunities that others cannot even perceive. David's second form of wealth came when he developed skills in isolation. In those fields, alone with sheep, he practiced. He practiced the sling. He practiced the harp. He practiced speaking words of faith. He practiced standing guard against threats. No one was watching. No one was applauding. No one was paying him extra. But he practiced anyway. This is the secret that separates the wealthy from the poor. The wealthy practice before there is a reward. The poor only practice if someone is paying them immediately. The wealthy understand that skill development is an investment. An investment that compounds over time. An investment that eventually pays dividends far beyond what any hourly wage could provide. David practiced the sling until he could strike a target from distances that seemed impossible. Why? Because he understood that precision matters. That mastery matters. That excellence in small things prepares you for excellence in large things. When the moment came, when Goliath stood mocking armies, David was ready. Not because of that moment, but because of 10,000 moments before it. Moments when no one watched. Moments when no one cared. Moments when he could have been lazy but chose discipline instead. Your wealth will come the same way. Not in one dramatic moment, but as the result of 10,000 small choices. Choices to practice. Choices to improve. Choices to develop skills when there is no immediate reward. But here is what you must grasp: skills alone do not create wealth. Skills must be combined with something else. Something David possessed in abundance. Courage. David's third form of wealth was the courage to step forward when opportunity presented itself. Think about this carefully. How many people in that army possessed the skill to use a sling? Dozens. Perhaps hundreds. How many had the physical capacity to face Goliath? Most of them. But how many stepped forward? 1. Opportunity does not lack for those who are prepared. Opportunity lacks for those who are prepared and willing to act. David did not wait for permission. He did not wait for encouragement. He did not wait until the conditions were perfect or the risks were eliminated. He assessed the situation. He trusted his preparation. And he moved. This is the principle: wealth flows to those who move toward opportunity, not to those who wait for opportunity to come to them. Every single day, opportunities pass you by. Not because they are not there, but because you do not have the courage to see them. Or having seen them, you do not have the courage to act. You tell yourself you are being wise, being cautious, waiting for the right time. But wisdom without courage is paralysis. And paralysis creates poverty. David's fourth form of wealth came through relationship. After defeating Goliath, David entered into covenant with Jonathan. Jonathan was the king's son, the heir to the throne, a man of influence and resource. Why did Jonathan want covenant with David? Because David had demonstrated qualities that wealth recognizes: courage, skill, purpose, character. Wealth does not flow to you because you need it. Wealth flows to you because you have become the kind of person that wealth-carrying people want to associate with. Look at your relationships. Look at the people you spend time with. Are they people of purpose? People of discipline? People who challenge you to become better? Or are they people of complaint? People of blame? People who pull you down into mediocrity? You cannot expect wealth to flow into your life if you surround yourself with people whose minds are locked in poverty patterns. Birds of a feather flock together. This is not a cute saying. This is law. David attracted relationship with Jonathan because David had made himself valuable. Not through manipulation. Not through pretense. Through genuine development of character and competence. If you want relationships that lead to wealth, become someone worth knowing. Develop yourself to the point where people of resources see value in your presence. David's fifth form of wealth came through service. He served King Saul faithfully even when Saul turned against him. He led armies. He protected the nation. He created value for others before he demanded value for himself. This is the principle that modern minds struggle to accept: you must give before you can receive. Not give in some mystical sense, hoping the universe notices. Give in a practical sense. Create value. Solve problems. Make other people's lives better through your effort and expertise. Most people approach life with their hands out. Give me a job. Give me money. Give me opportunity. And they wonder why nothing comes. Reverse the approach. Here is what I can do. Here is the value I create. Here is how I make your situation better. When you lead with value, wealth follows. When you lead with demands, poverty persists. David spent years creating value. Fighting battles. Protecting people. Leading with excellence. And the wealth came. Not immediately. Not all at once. But it came as the natural consequence of sustained value creation. Your situation is the same. If you want wealth, ask yourself every single day, what value did I create today? Whose life is better because I existed today? If you cannot answer those questions, you are operating in a pattern that repels wealth. David's sixth form of wealth came through patience. After being anointed as the future king, David did not demand the throne. He waited. He endured years of hardship. Years of running. Years of living in caves while Saul hunted him. Many would have given up. Many would have become bitter. Many would have declared that the promise was false, that the anointing was a lie. But David waited. Not passively. He continued to develop. Continued to serve. Continued to prepare. But he did not force the timing. This is the principle: there is a season for planting and a season for harvest. You cannot harvest in the planting season. You cannot rush the growth process. Most people quit 3 feet from gold. They plant. They tend. They wait for a while. And when the harvest does not come on their demanded schedule, they abandon the field and start over somewhere else. And then they wonder why they never accumulate wealth. They never accumulate it because they never stay in one place long enough for the compound effect to work. David stayed. He persisted. He trusted the process even when the process was painful. Your wealth will require the same. It will require you to stay committed when nothing seems to be happening. To keep planting when you see no sprouts. To keep watering when the ground looks dead. David's seventh form of wealth, the wealth that made him legendary, came when he finally stepped into his purpose. When he became king, all the preparation paid off. All the skill development. All the character building. All the courage. All the relationships. All the service. All the patience. It all came together. And wealth flowed to him in quantities that seemed miraculous to observers. But it was not miraculous. It was the inevitable result of years of alignment with the laws that govern wealth. Here is what you must burn into your consciousness: David's wealth was not about David. It was about the principles David practiced. Those same principles are available to you. Right now. Today. Not in theory, but in practice. You do not need David's time period. You do not need his specific circumstances. You do not need his genealogy or his nation or his occupation. You need his patterns. His way of thinking. His way of preparing. His way of acting. The law that governed David's wealth governs yours. The question is not whether the law works. The question is whether you will align with it. Now we must go deeper. Because knowing the principles intellectually changes nothing. You must see where you are violating these principles. Where you are sabotaging your own wealth through patterns you are not even aware of. This will be uncomfortable. But comfort is the enemy of growth. And growth is the prerequisite for wealth. Let us start with the first pattern: mental clarity about purpose. Be honest with yourself right now. Do you have clarity about your purpose? Do you know, with absolute certainty, what you are meant to build, create, or accomplish in this life? Or do you drift? Moving from distraction to distraction? From job to job? From plan to plan? Never committing fully to anything because you are not sure what you are supposed to be committing to? David spent years in empty fields developing clarity. You spend years on devices designed to destroy clarity. Scrolling. Consuming. Numbing yourself with entertainment that adds nothing to your development. You say you want wealth, but you do not want the discipline that creates wealth. You want the result without the process. The harvest without the planting. This is self-deception. And self-deception is the foundation of poverty. Stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending that you will get serious about your purpose tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. There is only today. And what you do today is what you truly value, regardless of what you say you value. If you spent today consuming instead of creating, you have declared through your actions that distraction is more important than wealth. If you spent today complaining instead of developing skills, you have declared that victimhood is more important than progress. Your life is a perfect reflection of your priorities. Look at your life. That is what you truly value. Now let us examine the second pattern: skill development in isolation. When was the last time you practiced something without immediate reward? When did you last invest hours into improving a skill simply because mastery matters? Or do you only do what you are paid to do? Only give effort when someone is watching? Only practice when there is a guaranteed return? David mastered the sling in empty fields with no audience. You will not even practice basic skills in your chosen field because you do not feel like it. Because it is hard. Because it is boring. Because you want entertainment instead. And then you wonder why opportunity passes you by. Opportunity passes you by because when it arrives, you are not ready. You are not excellent. You are merely adequate. And adequate is the enemy of wealth. Wealth flows to excellence. To mastery. To those who have made themselves so skilled, so competent, so valuable that people have no choice but to pay them. But you are not willing to pay the price for excellence. You want shortcuts. You want hacks. You want someone to hand you a formula that requires no real work. There is no such formula. Excellence requires repetition. Boring, unglamorous repetition. Day after day. Week after week. Month after month. Most people are not willing to do this. That is why most people are not wealthy. The third pattern is courage to act when opportunity presents itself. Think about the last 5 opportunities that came your way. Real opportunities. Chances to step forward, to take on more responsibility, to start something new, to invest in yourself or your business. How many did you act on? Or did you hesitate? Did you overthink? Did you wait for more information, more security, more certainty? Understand this: certainty is a myth. There is no perfect time. There is no risk-free opportunity. Every advancement requires you to step into uncertainty with nothing but your preparation and your faith. David faced a giant with a sling and stones. That is uncertainty. That is risk. But he moved anyway because he trusted his preparation. You face opportunities that are far less dangerous, and yet you freeze. You analyze. You procrastinate. You create elaborate reasons why now is not the right time. And the opportunity passes. And you console yourself with the thought that you were being wise. But you were not being wise. You were being afraid. Fear disguised as wisdom is still fear. And fear creates poverty. Wealth requires action. Not reckless action. Not foolish action. But decisive action based on preparation and aligned with purpose. If you are not taking action, you are not on the path to wealth. You are on the path to stagnation. The fourth pattern is the quality of relationships. Look around you. Who are your closest associations? The 5 people you spend the most time with, what are their habits? What are their attitudes toward money, work, and success? Are they building something? Or are they coasting? Are they disciplined? Or are they constantly indulging? Are they focused on what they can control? Or are they always blaming external circumstances? You are becoming the average of your associations. This is not optional. This is how the human mind works. You absorb the attitudes, beliefs, and habits of those around you through a process you are barely conscious of. If you surround yourself with people who think money is evil, you will never accumulate wealth. If you surround yourself with people who think success requires luck, you will never develop the discipline that creates success. David sought relationship with Jonathan, a man of character and courage. Jonathan was the king's son, yes, but more importantly, he was a man worth knowing. Who are you seeking relationship with? Or are you just accepting whatever relationships happen to you by default? Are you allowing proximity and convenience to determine your associations instead of intentionally seeking people who call you higher? If you are not intentional about relationships, you are leaving one of the most important wealth factors to chance. And chance favors no one. The fifth pattern is service and value creation. What value have you created today? This week? This month? Not what did you intend to create. Not what you thought about creating. What did you actually create? What is better in the world because you existed today? Most people create almost nothing. They consume. They take. They use. But they do not create genuine value that others are willing to pay for. And then they resent wealthy people. They resent those who have what they want. They create elaborate theories about exploitation and injustice to explain away their own lack of value creation. This is poverty mentality. This is the mindset that guarantees you will never have wealth. David created value everywhere he went. He killed the giant that terrified armies. He led battles. He wrote songs that lifted spirits. He protected the vulnerable. What are you protecting? What are you building? What problem are you solving that is significant enough that people will pay you for the solution? If you are not creating value, you have no right to expect wealth. Wealth is payment for value delivered. That is the exchange. That is the law. You cannot violate this law and expect prosperity. You cannot sit around hoping someone will give you money for nothing. That is not how reality works. The sixth pattern is patience and persistence. How long have you been working on your current goal? A month? 6 months? A year? And are you still committed? Or have you already started looking for something easier? Something faster? Something that does not require so much sustained effort? David waited years between his anointing and his coronation. Years of hardship. Years of uncertainty. Years when every circumstance screamed that the promise was false. But he did not quit. He did not change paths. He persisted. You quit at the first sign of difficulty. You abandon projects when they do not produce immediate results. You jump from opportunity to opportunity, always looking for the easy path, never staying anywhere long enough to build real momentum. This is why you do not have wealth. Not because the opportunities were not there, but because you were not there long enough to see them through. Wealth is built through compound effort over time. You cannot compound anything if you keep starting over. You cannot build momentum if you keep stopping. How many projects have you abandoned? How many businesses have you started and quit? How many skills have you begun learning and then dropped? Each time you quit, you are training yourself in the pattern of quitting. You are making it easier to quit next time. You are programming failure into your identity. Stop starting. Start finishing. Commit to something and stay with it long enough for the compound effect to work. The seventh pattern is stepping into purpose and responsibility. David became king. He took on full responsibility for a nation. The weight of that responsibility was immense. But he did not shrink from it. He stepped into it. What responsibility are you avoiding? What role are you supposed to step into that you are running from? You say you want wealth, but you do not want responsibility. You want freedom, but you do not want the burden of leadership. You want the benefits of success without the weight of decision-making. This is childish thinking. Wealth and responsibility are inseparable. The greater your capacity to carry responsibility, the greater the wealth that will flow to you. If you are avoiding responsibility, you are avoiding wealth. If you are blaming others for your circumstances, you are declaring that you are not ready for wealth. Wealthy people take responsibility for everything in their domain. Not because they caused everything, but because taking responsibility is the only way to have power over anything. When you blame, you give away your power. You declare yourself a victim. And victims do not build wealth. They only accumulate resentment. Stop blaming. Stop avoiding. Stop waiting for someone to make things easier for you. Step into the fullness of your responsibility. Take ownership of your life, your results, your future. This is the only path to wealth. Everything changes the moment you accept total responsibility. Not partial responsibility. Not responsibility for what you can easily control. Total responsibility for the state of your life, your finances, your relationships, your development. This is the turning point. The moment when you stop being a victim of circumstance and start being the creator of circumstance. David reached this turning point in those empty fields. No one was coming to rescue him. No one was going to hand him a kingdom. No one was going to develop his skills for him. He was alone. And in that aloneness, he discovered the truth that sets people free: I am responsible. Not responsible for the family I was born into. Not responsible for the circumstances I inherited. But absolutely responsible for what I do from this point forward. This truth is terrifying to most people. They would rather believe they are victims because victimhood requires nothing of them. Victimhood allows them to stay comfortable in failure. But you are reading this, which means some part of you is ready for a different truth. Some part of you knows that you are capable of more. That you were meant for more. Listen to that part. Feed that part. Strengthen that part. The new mindset begins with a simple declaration: I am the cause, not the effect. You are not the effect of your economy. You are the cause of value creation within your economy. You are not the effect of your industry. You are the cause of innovation and excellence within your industry. You are not the effect of your circumstances. You are the cause of new circumstances through your decisions and actions. This shift in identity changes everything. When you see yourself as the cause, you stop waiting. You stop complaining. You stop hoping that external conditions will change. You change. And when you change, everything around you begins to change. The second element of the new mindset is this: my mind is my most valuable asset. Not your job. Not your house. Not your car. Not even your current bank account. Your mind. The way you think. The beliefs you hold. The words you speak to yourself. David guarded his mind fiercely. He filled it with songs of faith. He spoke to his own soul. He reminded himself of who he was and whose he was. You allow your mind to be filled with garbage. Negative news. Toxic relationships. Pointless entertainment. Thoughts of limitation and lack. And then you wonder why wealth does not flow to you. Wealth does not flow to a polluted mind. It flows to a disciplined, focused, faith-filled mind. From this moment forward, treat your mind like the sacred asset it is. Guard what goes into it. Be intentional about what you read, watch, and listen to. Be ruthless about who you allow to speak into your life. Your mind will either build your wealth or destroy it. There is no middle ground. The third element of the new mindset is this: I develop skills before I need them. You do not wait until you have a job to develop competence. You do not wait until you have a business to develop expertise. You develop first. You prepare first. You become excellent first. David mastered the sling before there was a giant. He developed courage before there was a throne. He built character before there was wealth to manage. You must do the same. You must become the kind of person who deserves wealth before wealth arrives. You must build the container before you demand the contents. This requires patience. It requires faith. It requires working on yourself when there is no immediate payoff. But understand this: the payoff comes. It always comes. Not always when you want it. Not always how you expect it. But it comes to those who prepare. Stop demanding results before you have done the work. Stop resenting others who have what you want when you have not done what they did to get it. Do the work. Build the skills. Develop the character. Trust the process. The fourth element of the new mindset is this: courage is a muscle, and I train it daily. You were not born with all the courage you need. No one is. Courage is developed through practice. Through small acts of bravery that compound over time. David did not face Goliath as his first act of courage. He faced lions and bears first. Smaller threats. Private battles. Challenges that no one witnessed. Each time he chose courage over fear, he made the next choice easier. He trained the muscle. He built the capacity. You must do the same. Every single day, do something that requires courage. Speak up when you would normally stay silent. Take action when you would normally hesitate. Face a fear instead of avoiding it. These small acts seem insignificant. But they are building the capacity you will need when the big opportunity comes. When that opportunity arrives, you will not have time to develop courage. You will only have time to use what you have already built. Build it now. In private. In small ways. Build it daily. The fifth element of the new mindset is this: I seek relationships intentionally, based on mutual growth. You do not settle for whatever relationships happen to you. You do not maintain toxic connections out of guilt or habit. You are intentional. You seek people who challenge you, who call you higher, who believe in growth and excellence. And you offer the same to them. You do not seek to take from relationships. You seek to create mutual value. This is how David and Jonathan operated. Mutual respect. Mutual value. Mutual commitment to each other's success. Find your Jonathans. Find people who are going somewhere. And make yourself valuable to them. Not through manipulation or flattery, but through genuine character and contribution. Your wealth will be directly connected to the quality of your relationships. Choose wisely. The sixth element of the new mindset is this: I create value first, and wealth follows. You reverse the typical approach. Instead of demanding payment and then deciding how much effort to give, you create value first. Generous value. Undeniable value. You become so good at what you do that people cannot ignore you. You solve problems so effectively that people seek you out. You create such obvious benefit that payment becomes inevitable. This is not naive. This is strategic. This is how wealth actually works. Value precedes payment in every sustainable transaction. Stop trying to get as much as possible while giving as little as possible. That is poverty thinking. That is scarcity thinking. That mindset repels wealth. Give first. Create first. Serve first. And trust that the law of reciprocity will work in your favor. The seventh element of the new mindset is this: I am building for the long term, not for immediate comfort. Your decisions today are not about making today comfortable. They are about making your future inevitable. Every choice is either building the future you want or tearing it down. David endured years of discomfort to build his future. He did not demand immediate relief. He did not compromise his character for temporary ease. You must adopt the same mindset. You are building something that will compound over years. Not days. Not weeks. Years. This means making choices that your present self might not enjoy but your future self will thank you for. It means investing when you could be consuming. It means practicing when you could be relaxing. It means building when you could be coasting. Your future is not determined by what happens to you. It is determined by what you build, day by day, through disciplined choices aligned with your purpose. The eighth element of the new mindset is this: I step into responsibility as it is offered, not after I feel ready. You will never feel fully ready. Never feel completely qualified. Never feel like you have enough knowledge or experience. That feeling of inadequacy is normal. It is not a stop sign. It is simply the sensation of growth. David did not feel ready to face Goliath. He just felt more ready than he felt willing to let the giant continue mocking. You will not feel ready to take the next step in your wealth journey. Take it anyway. Step into the responsibility. Take on the challenge. Accept the opportunity. You will figure it out. You will grow into it. You will develop the capacity you need as you go, not before you start. Waiting until you feel ready is waiting forever. Move now. Now we move from principle to practice. From understanding to application. Because understanding that changes nothing is nothing. Here are the daily practices that will align you with the same wealth laws that govern David's life. These are not suggestions. These are requirements if you are serious about wealth. Practice 1: Morning Mental Programming. Every single morning, before you do anything else, you must program your mind. This is not optional. This is the foundation of everything else. Spend the first 30 minutes of your day in mental preparation. Not consuming. Not checking messages. Not scrolling. Preparing your mind for the day ahead. Read something that strengthens your faith in yourself and in the principles of success. Something that reminds you of your purpose. Something that fills your mind with possibility rather than limitation. Speak your purpose out loud. Declare where you are going. Remind yourself of your identity. Say things like, I am building wealth through value creation. I am developing skills daily. I am moving toward my purpose with courage and consistency. Does this feel strange? Good. Strange means unfamiliar. And unfamiliar is where growth lives. Your mind has been programmed by years of input you did not choose. Now you are choosing. Now you are intentionally programming yourself for success instead of accidentally programming yourself for failure. Do this every morning. Without exception. For at least 30 days. After 30 days, you will notice a shift. After 90 days, you will notice a transformation. After a year, you will not recognize your old patterns of thinking. David spoke to his own soul constantly. He programmed his mind with songs, with declarations, with truths that contradicted his circumstances. You must do the same. Your morning mental programming is the starting point of wealth. Practice 2, skill development sessions. Every single day, you must invest at least 1 hour in deliberate skill development. Not entertainment disguised as learning. Not passive consumption. Active, focused practice of skills that create value in your chosen field. If you are building a business, study business principles. Study marketing. Study sales. Study operations. Study finance. Not just reading about them, but practicing them. Applying them. Making mistakes and correcting them. If you are in a profession, practice the skills that make you excellent in that profession. Become so skilled that people notice. That people talk about you. That people seek you out. David practiced the sling for hours, alone, with no audience. You can invest 1 hour per day in your development. What skills do you need to master? What competencies would make you twice as valuable? What expertise would cause opportunities to seek you instead of you seeking opportunities? Identify those skills. Then practice them. Daily. Without fail. This is not in addition to your work. This is the most important part of your work. Because this is what creates the exponential returns. This is what separates you from the merely adequate. Set a timer. Remove distractions. Practice with focus. Track your progress. Improve incrementally. 1 hour per day. 365 hours per year. In 5 years, that is 1,825 hours of deliberate practice. Do you understand what you could master in 1,825 hours of focused effort? You could become one of the most skilled people in your field. You could develop competencies that command premium payment. You could build capacity for wealth that most people never develop. But only if you actually do it. Only if you treat this as non-negotiable. Practice 3, daily value creation. Every day, you must create something of value. Something that makes the world slightly better. Something that solves a problem for someone else. This might be content. It might be a product improvement. It might be a service delivered with excellence. It might be a solution to a customer problem. It might be help offered to a colleague. But it must be something tangible. Something real. Not just intentions. Not just plans. Actual value created and delivered. Keep a journal. At the end of each day, write down, "Today I created value by." And complete the sentence. If you cannot complete the sentence, you had an unproductive day. String together enough productive days, and you will have a productive life. String together enough value-creating days, and wealth becomes inevitable. David created value daily. He protected the sheep. He killed the threats. He led the soldiers. He wrote the songs. He made decisions. He built systems. He did not wait until he felt inspired. He did not wait until conditions were perfect. He created value as a daily discipline. Make this your discipline. Create value daily. Even if it is small. Even if no one notices immediately. The compound effect will work in your favor. Practice 4. Courage training. Every single day, do one thing that requires courage. One thing that makes you uncomfortable. One thing that pushes you slightly beyond your current capacity. This might be having a difficult conversation. Making a sales call. Publishing content. Asking for the sale. Raising your prices. Applying for a position you do not feel fully qualified for. Whatever it is, it must be something that activates fear. Something that makes your heart beat faster. Something you would avoid if you were following comfort. Do not wait until you feel brave. You will never feel brave. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action in the presence of fear. David felt fear when facing Goliath. His heart raced. His hands probably trembled. But he moved forward anyway. That is courage. Train this quality daily. Make it a habit. Build the muscle so that when the big opportunity comes, courage is your default response instead of hesitation. Write it down. Today I demonstrated courage by. Complete the sentence every evening. Hold yourself accountable. This practice alone will change your life. Because most opportunities are missed not due to lack of skill but due to lack of courage to act. Practice 5. Relationship cultivation. Every week, invest time in cultivating relationships with people who are ahead of you. People who have achieved what you are working toward. People who can challenge your thinking and expand your possibilities. This is not networking in the shallow sense. This is not collecting business cards or LinkedIn connections. This is genuine relationship building based on mutual respect and value. Reach out to someone you admire. Ask intelligent questions. Offer value first. Share what you are learning. Be genuinely interested in their journey. Most people never do this because they are afraid of rejection. They are afraid of being seen as bothersome. They are afraid of looking foolish. But wealthy people understand that relationship is currency. That access to wisdom is worth more than money. That one conversation can change the trajectory of years. David cultivated relationship with Jonathan. That relationship sustained him through years of difficulty. It provided resources, information, and emotional support. Who are you cultivating relationship with? Or are you only associating with people who make you comfortable? People who require nothing of you? People who keep you at your current level? Comfort in relationships is often stagnation in disguise. Seek relationships that make you better. And make yourself valuable to those relationships. Practice 6. Financial discipline. Every single day, you must practice financial discipline. This is non-negotiable. You cannot build wealth if you cannot manage money. Start by tracking every dollar. Know where your money goes. Not approximately. Exactly. Most people have no idea where their money goes. They wonder why they are not wealthy while simultaneously bleeding resources through unconscious spending. Track it. All of it. This is not about judgment. This is about awareness. You cannot improve what you do not measure. Next, implement the principle of paying yourself first. Before you pay anyone else, before you spend on anything else, allocate a percentage of your income to your wealth building account. Start with 10% if you can. If you cannot, start with 5%. If you cannot do 5, start with 1%. But start. Make it automatic. Make it non-negotiable. This money is not for emergencies. This money is for investment. For skill development. For starting a business. For purchasing assets. For creating future income streams. David accumulated wealth not just through income but through management. He did not squander resources. He allocated them strategically. You must do the same. Discipline today creates options tomorrow. Lack of discipline today creates desperation tomorrow. Which future are you building? Practice 7, Evening Review and Adjustment. Every evening, before you sleep, review your day. Not with judgment, but with objectivity. Ask yourself, did I program my mind this morning? Did I develop skills today? Did I create value? Did I demonstrate courage? Did I invest in relationships? Did I practice financial discipline? Be honest. Write down your answers. Note where you succeeded and where you fell short. Then make adjustments for tomorrow. If you missed something today, commit to it tomorrow. If something did not work, strategize a different approach. This daily review keeps you on track. It prevents you from drifting. It ensures that your days are not just passing but are accumulating toward something significant. David reflected constantly. He wrote psalms that revealed deep self-examination. He assessed his actions, his motives, his alignment with purpose. You must develop the same practice. 10 minutes per evening. Simple questions. Honest answers. Continuous adjustment. This is how ordinary days compound into an extraordinary life. This is how small disciplines create massive results. Most people never review. They just repeat the same day over and over, wondering why nothing changes. Nothing changes because they are not changing. They are not adjusting. They are not learning from their patterns. You will be different. You will review. You will adjust. You will improve incrementally every single day. We have reached the end of this teaching, but for you, this is only the beginning. Everything you have learned here will be worthless if you do not apply it. If you do not take these principles and practices and integrate them into your daily life. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. Applied knowledge is power. Consistent application of correct principles is what creates wealth. King David's wealth was not a miracle disconnected from natural law. It was the result of patterns. Patterns of thinking. Patterns of preparation. Patterns of action. Patterns of faith and courage and discipline. Those same patterns are available to you. Right now. Today. The laws that governed his wealth govern yours. The principles that worked in his time work in your time. But they require something of you. They require that you stop being a victim. That you stop blaming. That you stop waiting for rescue. They require that you take total responsibility for your life, your development, your financial future. You are not the effect of your circumstances. You are the cause of new circumstances through your decisions and actions. The economy does not determine your wealth. Your value creation determines your wealth. Your industry does not determine your income. Your skills and courage determine your income. Your past does not determine your future. Your patterns from this point forward determine your future. Understand this, your life is a perfect reflection of the patterns you have practiced up until now. If you do not like what you see, change the patterns. Stop doing what you have been doing and expecting different results. That is insanity. That is self-deception. That is poverty thinking. Start doing what wealthy people do. Think how wealthy people think. Prepare how wealthy people prepare. Act how wealthy people act. Persist how wealthy people persist. Not wealthy in the sense of pretense and appearance. Wealthy in the sense of genuine value creation, skill mastery, character development, and long-term vision. David was not pretending to be a king while he lived in caves. He was becoming a king. Building the capacity. Developing the character. Preparing for the responsibility. You must do the same. Stop pretending. Start becoming. Build the capacity for wealth through daily discipline. Develop the character that can handle wealth without being corrupted by it. Because here is the truth most people never grasp: the reason you do not have wealth yet is not that you do not deserve it. It is that you are not ready for it. If wealth came to you right now, with your current patterns of thinking and acting, you would lose it. You would sabotage it. You would return to your current state because your current state matches your current capacity. So stop demanding wealth and start building capacity. Stop resenting those who have what you want and start learning what they know. Stop looking for shortcuts and start embracing the process. The process works. It worked for David. It works for every person who has built sustainable wealth. It will work for you if you work it. But you must commit. Not for a day. Not for a week. Not until you feel like quitting. You must commit to becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts wealth. This is identity level change. This is fundamental transformation. This is not about adding a few tips to your current approach. This is about rebuilding your approach from the foundation up. Are you willing? Are you truly willing to do what it takes? Or are you just hoping for an easier way? There is no easier way. There is only this way: daily discipline, skill development, value creation, courage, faith, and persistence over years. Most people are not willing to pay this price. That is why most people are not wealthy. They want the result, but they are not willing to become the kind of person who produces that result. You can be different. You can be the exception. But only if you decide, right now, that you are willing to pay the price. Make the decision. Not with emotion that will fade tomorrow. With commitment that will sustain you through difficult seasons. Declare it: I am the cause, not the effect. I am building wealth through value creation. I am developing skills daily. I am moving toward my purpose with courage and consistency. I am taking total responsibility for my financial future. Say it out loud. Write it down. Commit to it. Then prove it through your actions, day after day, week after week, month after month. Your future self is watching. The person you will be 5 years from now is being shaped by what you do today. Are you building that person intentionally? Or are you allowing that person to be shaped by default, by distraction, by the path of least resistance? Your destiny is not fixed. Your future is not predetermined. You are writing it right now with every choice, every action, every thought pattern you reinforce. Write well. Build well. Choose well. David's wealth came because David built the capacity for wealth long before the wealth arrived. Your wealth will come the same way. Not through wishing. Not through hoping. Not through luck. Through capacity. Through preparation. Through discipline. Through courage. Through value creation. Through persistence. Everything you need is within your reach. The principles are simple. The practices are clear. The path is laid out before you. All that remains is your decision. Your commitment. Your willingness to become who you must become to have what you say you want. Decide now. Commit now. Act now. Your wealth journey begins the moment you accept total responsibility. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Go forward. Build your capacity. Create your value. Face your fears. Develop your skills. Cultivate your relationships. Manage your resources. Review and adjust daily. Do this, and wealth will find you. Not because you chased it, but because you became the kind of person to whom wealth naturally flows. This is your moment. This is your beginning. Everything changes from here if you let it. Make the decision. Take the first step. And never look back at the person you used to be. Your destiny awaits. Not in the distant future. Right here. Right now. In the patterns you choose to practice starting today. Claim it. Build it. Become it. This is King David's wealth secret, now revealed to you. Become the person first, and the wealth will follow. Go build.